All right, guys, it's Andy. She blinded me with refractors. It's been a while, right? So I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the Dallas card show this past weekend. Just kind of give a recap and just kind of some of my thoughts. And then if anybody hops on here, maybe they have questions or comments about what their experience was, or if they had any questions about the show itself. So first, I'll go through some of the people that were there, and old friends, and then new friends that I was able to meet. What's up, Brian? How's it going, man? So here, well, let's go through a list of the people that were there that I was kind of, either hanging out with or met. First off, my brother, Brian, he lives about an hour away from there. So, he recently got back into collecting probably like 2 years ago, I would say, 2.5 years ago. And so he's really gotten the collecting bug now. So it's fun for us to be able to, do this together. And to his credit, he's really dug in and learned so much about the hobby just in the last couple of years. I mean, we both collected as kids, but it's really fun now as adults to, be able to kind of share this hobby and enjoy that together. So, yeah, obviously, he was there. We had a great time. Michael Double X the Beast, I met up with him, and he lives, gosh, what is it, like 5.5 hours away from there. He lives in Midland, Texas, so he was able to make the trip. Actually, he and I roomed together the first couple of nights at the show, and Thursday was day one, and it was kind of a short day because it was like the preview night. So he and I went, and he was able to find 9 boxes of 2008 Bowman Chrome baseball. And let me tell you, we went back to the room that night, and he was kind enough to allow me to help him in the opening of these boxes, let the cards breathe a little bit. And let me just say, if you guys have some unopened product and you're not feeling so lucky yourself, just let Michael open it, because he always pulls crazy stuff. So we had so much fun with this. Like, I can't even imagine having more fun opening like any of these newer products, because with an old product, because we've both been collecting for a long time. So 08 Bowman Chrome, that was just, very nostalgic. Like, we just had so much fun looking at the cards, like, hey, I remember this guy, and all that. And, he pulled 2 1-of-1s out of 9 loose hobby boxes. He pulled a 1-of-1 printing plate of I think it was Jimmy Rollins, and then he pulled a prospect, a guy that he never made it, but he pulled a superfractor non-auto of some pitching prospect that never developed, but it was cool. I mean, he did pull some good stuff, like a Derek Jeter X-Fractor, lots of neat refractors. There was a few color refractors in there. Just a very fun rip. I mean, not about the value of it, just the whole fun of it. So that was great, just to do that. Just, it kind of like just, brings you back to the roots of the hobby, opening boxes, not really caring so much about the value, just, pulling players you like, having fun. So that was great. So the next day we went and we met up with Mike, baseball collector, and Josh, rated rookie. So anytime we get together with those guys, it's like a great time. Mike, he's kind of the guy in the hobby that he'll invite people into his home, let them have a place to stay, like when there's big events like this, or just out of the blue. Mike's a good dude, really good friend of mine, and always fun to see Mike. Josh, obviously Josh being way out in Los Angeles, he and I have only got to hang out a couple of times. I think we hung out at the National 2 years ago, and then at this show. Just such a great dude, so knowledgeable about the hobby. And I mean, what can you say about Josh? He's just a great guy, man. So we had a lot of fun, just talking cards, hanging out. A bunch of us went and had lunch, and that's what we'll get to. Some of the other guys here, some of the YouTubers that you guys know for sure: Dave, Blue Jacket 66, Bart, the PSA card guy, Ken Kinsley, Beansball Card Block. But yeah, Mike, Josh, Dave, Bart, and I, we went and had some lunch, and that was just a great time. We had lunch at the restaurant there inside the show. Hey, Alex, what's up, man? But yeah, like the the service in this restaurant was a little bit subpar. Like, I kind of felt like Mike was actually our waiter, because he just kept, going up there, and Mike was just making sure that the things were getting done. We'll just say that. But we had a great time. I mean, just sitting around talking, joking around. All these guys are just like so laid back, and it's just, man, it's just fun just to hang out with these guys. Like, we talk about all kinds of stuff. I mean, of course, cards are involved, a little bit, but just live stuff. Dave, man, Dave cracks me up with his sense of humor, because he has the same type of humor that I have and that we have in my family, as far as just the sarcasm. He throws in a little wittiness. So Dave could be a character on Curb Your Enthusiasm, easy. So yeah, so those guys, I mean, it was great to hang out with those guys. Obviously, they all bought some cool cards, which I'll let them show that stuff on their own channels. I think some of them already have. Bart is like, this is the first time Bart and I had met in person. Bart is exactly how he appears on YouTube. He's exactly the same awesome dude that you would think he would be. Just really nice, laid back guy. So it was really fun to meet you, Bart. Some of the other guys that I was able to hang out with a bit, the Card Ladder crew: Josh, Chris, Christina, Brett from Stacking Slabs, Justin, Charger 2 Sports Cards. We'll talk a little bit more about him in a little bit. Emil from Slab Talk. Roy, he's a cool dude that I met. I just happened to run into him, and he was familiar with the channel, and he had seen my Russell Westbrook collection, and he's a big Tony Parker collector. So, he and I kind of shared some player collecting thoughts with each other, and he was able to show me some really cool pickups that he has, some Tony Parker stuff. He had a limited logo exquisite that was just ridiculous that he picked up. Matt from Matt Sports Cards, Chris, Costa Cards, Mike, MC Sports Cards, Carvin. So a bunch of us went out to eat at a barbecue place there in Texas called Rudy's. And it was, Josh, Chris, Christina, Brett, Justin, Emil, Josh, me, and Carvin. And Carvin, if you guys don't know, I didn't know this. Silly me, but Carvin is actually the guy who invented exquisite cards. So that was really cool to be able to, talk with him and kind of, pick his brain a little bit about that whole process. I was able to meet Tyler from the Card Talk Pod. Talked a little bit of soccer and UFC with him. He's a super chill dude. I don't know if you guys watched the Card Talk podcast with Ryan, Card Collector 2, and then Tyler and Lou, but that's a great listen. So it was a great time. Hey Ziggy, hey Bill, how's it going, guys? So as far as pickups, I only had one card that I picked up, and a couple of these gentlemen that I mentioned, they kind of played a role in that. So Justin, who's Charger 21 Sports Cards on Instagram, he had this card, and I met him, and he and I had kind of talked a little bit, and then I saw this card, and I knew I wanted it from the first time I saw it, and this was like on day two of the show, and we didn't end up doing the deal until day 4. And a couple of the other guys that kind of played a role in it is Matt from Matt Sports Cards, and then Chris from Costa Cards. So what happened is this was a big card here for me. So I knew I was going to need to move a few things in order to come up with the loot in order to get this card, because I don't walk around with a ton of cash. I don't have a ton of cash, so that's why I don't walk around with it. But so I ended up moving a couple of Conor McGregor refractors to Matt and Chris, and these guys were, they were very fair on the pricing. These are just, good dudes. They've been in the hobby for a long time. This is the first time I had met them, but they're legit guys. I recognize them. And so we were able to come to an agreement on a few Conor McGregor refractors that I had. And so I was able to get the money. So I headed back over to Justin, and here's the card I was able to acquire. So we got the Steph Curry. Sorry about the focus there. See if I can get it to focus. Steph Curry 2009 Topps Chrome Refractor Rookie. So the story behind this card, as you can see, it's graded authentic. So I was talking to Justin, and he'd had a lot of people look at this card, and he said, obviously the first question that everybody asks about this card is why is it graded authentic? So he bought this card a while back, and he knew it wasn't going to grade like super high. He knew it wasn't going to be like an 8, 9, or 10. And I looked at it pretty closely, and I think it's probably I think it would be like a 6 or a 7 if you put a numerical grade on it. So knowing that it wasn't going to be like an 8, 9, or 10, he just decided to have PSA slab it authentic, which it's a Steph Curry Topps Chrome Refractor Rookie, so no problem with me, because I just knew that I wanted this card. The front of the card looks great. There's a little bit of damage on the back corners. They have these black borders on the back corners, so there's a couple of those that have a little bit of damage. So I think it's probably 6 to 7 range. That's kind of my assessment of the card. Who knows? The way PSA has been grading lately, if you guys have gotten any cards back lately, PSA may say it's like a 0.5 or something at this point. I don't know. They've been extremely tough lately, just to put it mildly. So that was that was my one and only pickup of the show. But yeah, it was a blast. This was kind of one of those rejuvenating shows, which it seems to me like all of these bigger shows where you get to go and hang out with your buddies and, just have a good time. Those shows are always rejuvenating to me, and they just really energize you and kind of get you refocused as far as, maybe what you want to do and accomplish in the hobby. But yeah, that was the trip for me. So, I mean, I will hang out here for a little bit if you guys have any questions about the show or anything else. My brother he pulled off a pretty big trade. He traded a couple of cards and got a 2005 Contenders Aaron Rodgers rookie auto, a PSA 10, and then he got some cash back too. So I think he did pretty well. Yeah, Mike, definitely need to make the trip. Garrett, the stream is open. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. I'll have to come in there, Garrett, with you guys here in a minute. Yeah, Brian. It's a pretty neat card he got. I think the pop on the PSA 10s of that Rodgers is like in the 30s. I think right now, he's probably stressing a little bit about, Rodgers' situation. So it'll be interesting to see how that, either gets resolved or whatever. Hey, Lou Rock, what's up, man? So how many of you guys in here will be attending the National? That's coming up, here, 2 months? I'm really looking forward to that. I know there's another Dallas card show. I think it's like maybe 2 weeks before the National. So I'm thinking about, possibly going to that show as well. So just making, the month of July just card month. We'll see if time and my wallet will permit. I will say, guys, like at this show, like, I've watched a bunch of other people's videos, and a lot of people seem to be, talking about the card market, and obviously there's been some dips in a lot of things. There was a ton of ultra modern slabs, a lot of ultra modern basketball, which I think, not surprising. What was it, probably like 8 to 9 months ago, I think people were kind of in that mode to where they were just, submitting everything that they would rip open, from whether it be hobby packs, retail packs, whatever they could get their hands on. They were just sending it to PSA, which, obviously created this giant backlog. And I think we're starting to see some of those slabs get back into people's hands and onto the market. I did see a lot of, I saw some big cash deals go down. And when I say big cash deals, like, I saw one deal where 70K exchanged hands plus some other cards just to acquire one card. And there was a lot of stuff like that. There was a lot of trading going on, a lot of, cash trade type deals, which I almost feel like the deal that I made was almost like one of those situations. It was kind of like a three-way trade in a way, because the cash was literally in my hands for about 2 minutes, as long as it took me to walk it over to this Curry card. Let's see. All right, Lou. So let's see. So you're not going to the National, but maybe to the Dallas show. I mean, yeah. Well, as long as you make one of them, Lou, I'd like to see you, man. So Brian asked, how did I'll pop this up there. so people can see it. It was interesting, Brian. I I felt like I was probably in a lot of videos that I didn't mean to be in. Just accidentally, just me just walking around the show. I felt like I was probably in a lot of videos without really even knowing it. So it I don't guess I minded so much. I mean, there's obviously some of the people, which I won't name any names, but there are some people that are a little bit annoying with, like, walking around with their entourage of cameramen, producers, whatever. It kind of feels like they're creating a reality TV show in a way. And there was a lot of stuff that I saw that was really natural, that was just happened to be filmed. And then there was a lot of other stuff where you could tell that people were kind of like playing to the camera. Like, it just didn't seem super authentic in certain cases, but that's that's kind of expected. I mean, if you watch a lot of these newer channels, you'll see some of those type of channels where they're just, it's kind of like a lot of hype, I guess you might say. Micah, let's see this. All right. I did not. I actually did not meet Jeff, the sports card investor. Obviously I saw these guys around. I saw Jeff. I saw, Sasha T. A lot of these guys that have, created these YouTube sports card mega channels over the last couple of years. But I didn't meet either one of those guys, so I don't really have too much. I didn't kiss anybody's feet. I know that. I'm not. No, let's leave it at that. Let's see what else. Hey Grant, how's it going, man? Good to see you in here. Yeah, I guess I think I actually talked about this with somebody at the show. I'm not one of those people that's like starstruck over, any type of celebrities, which I don't even really consider YouTube sports card channels, big guys like that, to be celebrities. I mean, maybe some people think they are, and maybe they are, but I just don't consider them that way. Like, when I go into a card show like that, I'm just there to try to, like, have fun, make friends. Like, I don't think I'm better than anybody there, and I don't view anybody else to be, better than anyone else either. So, big shit. Yeah, you're right, Brian. There was some awesome vintage there, but not a ton of it. I will say this kind of like, this kind of just popped into my head randomly, but I did get to see some of the CSG slabs, and I will say they look a lot better in person and in hand than they do online. I'm still not a fan of the flip. The flip could use some work, but the slab itself is actually looks pretty good. I was actually kind of impressed. So, but yeah, there wasn't a ton of vintage, but the stuff that was there, I know Dave saw a card there that he said he's only seen like one other time in his life, a Mickey Mantle. I know he talks about that in his video. So, I mean, he was definitely impressed with that. The dealers were, I thought the dealers were very cool. And what I mean by that is, like, they were very interactive with people. They didn't really they didn't hound you, but they also didn't ignore you, which, that's kind of perfect in my mind. and they were open to deal. I mean, I didn't see too many people that were just like stuck on their prices. I mean, there were some people there that they had their stuff, priced at, prices that were 6 months ago. So they weren't super up to date on their prices, but everybody that I interacted with seemed like they were, there to do deals. Hey Bart, what's up, man? Yeah, Bart, it was great to meet Bart. Like, he drove 8 hours from El Paso, which is, I think the craziest thing about that is the fact that you can drive 8 hours just within the state of Texas. That's because, I mean, there was people from like several states away that, it took them less time to get there. Okay, so Mike, you're going to the Philly show in 3 weeks. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that show compares, as far as like just amount of vintage versus modern. Let's see. Let me put this, like, pop this up here. Yeah, I think, and honestly, so here that's a good point, Brian, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. Just my thoughts anyway on why that is. The Dallas show, man, it's like the average age of the dealers at this show compared to the national it's pretty fascinating. Like, there's a lot younger crowd at this show as far as dealers go, and probably customers as well, but that's I think both of those things probably have a lot to do with the sports card market, the way it's changed over the last year or so. A lot younger dealers, and yeah, they're not the ones. I think Dave said this in his video, like, 10 years ago you had older dealers at the national and other shows that just kind of like sit back and they'll be eating food and just kind of ignoring people, and they act like it's a hassle if you ask them to help you or ask for a price or something. But yeah, these dealers were great, man. Like, and that's a lot of I guess this whole thing, it really opened my eyes up a little bit because I've been collecting for a long time, so I think maybe I was I felt somewhat threatened, like, by some of the younger generation coming into the hobby within the last year, just in the sense that I felt like things were changing rather quickly. It almost felt like they were trying to like take it away from me, the way prices were going up and investing and all this stuff. But once you get out there and talk to some of these guys, like, you kind of realize that, I mean, I'm sure there's some of them out there that are solely in it for the money, but there's a lot of these guys that have, in a relatively short period of time, have really learned a lot about, not only the players, but the cards and the sets. And these guys know their stuff pretty well. And that was impressive to me. And, I'm going to try myself personally to be a little bit more open-minded to some of the changes that have occurred in the hobby. And because I think some of the passion and energy and just the hustle that some of these guys do, it's pretty admirable to me just to watch them, because like I said, they're not sitting back and just waiting for things to happen. They're getting in there for action. And it's, I mean, some of the lingo to me is a little it's a little bit odd. I guess that's part of the get off my lawn type stuff, that the make a play stuff and all. I mean, but it's cool. I mean, that's the new generation, and that's how they operate. And they think that guys like me are probably too old fashioned and not up to speed with things. And I think there's plenty of room for all of us, I guess I will say, like I'm not really viewing it so much as us versus them anymore, because I met a lot of really cool dudes that, they haven't been in this that long, but they've really learned a lot, and it's pretty impressive. Hey Ken, what's up, man? Just saw you got in here. It was good to finally meet you and hang out for a few minutes. Let's see. Nate, what is up, my man? Talk about the hobby dinosaur stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, Nate, I think there's plenty of room for all of us. I mean, we're not going to agree with them on everything, and they're not going to agree with us, but I think there's more common ground there than probably what I initially thought. And I think once you get into a room with some of these people, some of them especially, they're a lot different than probably what I thought they were. And that was refreshing to see, in my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, Brian, I mean, it's I think it's good to have some new blood in there, because in anything, things can get stagnant over time. And I know none of us that collect have been, super thrilled with some of the prices over the last year or so. I mean, you're thrilled if you already had the cards, because they're worth a lot more now. But if you're still looking to acquire new cards, it's been a pain. And I know they take the new crowd takes a lot of blame for that from us, but it's all going to work itself out. I think. I mean, I don't think the market is crashing by any means, because, like I said, I saw a lot of money change hands, way more than I've seen in years past at card shows. So even if things are down a little bit right now, certainly not crashing, in my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, Ken. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier about the camera crews and stuff. It was a little bit strange, and I'm sure you were like me, probably ended up in a lot of videos that you probably didn't intend to. But if that's what, I don't know, if that's what some of those guys want to do, I mean, I guess I shouldn't let that kind of stuff bother me as much as what I probably did before. So I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it. Let's see. Ken. Yeah, I mean, we need a few get off our lawn guys still. I mean, we can't, we can't just let them completely have everything their way. Yes, Mike. You're right. Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here, Mike, when I kind of went down like the list of all the people that were there and stuff, and how we had hung out and everything, and how you're always the dude that puts people up. So that's always awesome. We had a good lunch, and I told them that you were also my waiter at the lunch. Oh, let's see what else we got. Yeah, Nate. No, I mean, no crash. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff that corrects, some stuff that probably was way higher than it ever should have gotten in the first place. And that, that happens, I think, in markets when you have like a frenzy period where there's so many new people that come in, and everybody just gets too excited, and they let their emotions kind of take over their wallets for a while, and things get a little bit out of hand, and eventually things will get back to where they should be. Good question, Brian. The high prices of wax. Well, yes, it's been a supply and demand issue for sure. Um, and the problem is that, especially with the retail wax, the people that genuinely want it are not the people that have been buying it in Targets and Walmarts. The people that have been buying it in Targets and Walmarts have been the guys that are, wanting to make some money off of it, which I don't like it. You don't like it, but it's their right. I can't get mad at them for doing that. I don't like it, but because, I want to be able to go into Target and Walmart and get some of that stuff and come home and open it. And I'm not one of the people that will pay over SRP for retail wax. So I've just kind of ignored that market, to be honest. But yeah, it is. It's always a supply and demand issue, but the reason that it's worked out that way is because the people that truly want the stuff are not the ones that get to it first. There's been an additional middleman added to the equation. Let me see what else we got here. Lots of money being traded, not bought and sold. I mean, there was plenty of all those things, for sure. I mean, there was a lot of trading, especially like after hours, I feel, but there was a lot of cash that was changing hands as well. Let's see. True. The national, I mean, the number of tables at this show might be getting somewhere comparable to the national, but the space itself, you just have a lot more corporate type vendors and stuff at the national, and then I think there's still quite a few more tables, I think, at the national, in my opinion. But this show's it's big. It's probably the second biggest one going at the moment. Yes, sir, Michael. That's what I was telling him at the beginning. Like that was one of the highlights of the trip for me because you and I busting that '08 Bowman Chrome and you pulling the superfractor and the printing plate and just all those players from 2008 that we had all kinds of just funny stories and stuff about every player. Be like, oh, you remember this guy? Oh yeah, he did this or this. It was a blast to do that. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. There's I'm hoping anyway. I'm hoping that there's going to be way more of my friends and your friends there. That's the goal. I want everybody there because it's just so much fun. I mean, like it doesn't matter if you buy a ton of cards, buy a few cards, buy no cards. It's fun. I've done all those things at nationals in the past. I've went there and spent a lot of money. I've went there and spent a little bit of money, and I went there and spent pretty much no money. Which a lot of my close friends they will tell you that I'm the type of guy, like when I go to a show, I don't feel like I have to buy something. And they give me crap about it all the time. Like it's like a holiday if I buy a card. Sometimes it feels like I try to be as patient as possible. Yeah, Grant, I did see that. There was a Justin Herbert 1 of 1. I think it was the Contenders auto at the show. That was one of the big deals that I saw go down. It was like 70,000 cash plus about 30,000 in Trout cards for this Justin Herbert. So that was a huge deal. Let's see. I'll just put this up there for a sec. Everybody Everybody knows my thoughts on that already, so I don't need to say any more about that. Yeah, Nate, dude, that's a good point. Like, I did not see very much of that stuff. That is the stuff that people that have been collecting for a while. They have a lot of that stuff locked up in their collections, and it's tough to pry it away from them. Um, I'll tell you guys, there as much cool stuff as the dealers had in their showcases. The best stuff that I saw all weekend was walking around in people's backpacks. To be honest, like it was insane. Some of the cards that I saw that people were, carrying around with them. Some of them, some of the stuff that people brought was just to kind of show friends, which I brought a lot of stuff that, I mean, I didn't have any, um, you know, I didn't have any intentions to move any of it, but I just brought it just to kind of show to my friends. That's part of the fun, is showing off your stuff. And there was a ton of like super cool stuff that was walking around the show just in collectors' hands. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely, Ken. I mean, that's the main thing. Um, and it's cool whenever you meet people that obviously people that you've interacted with on social media in person for the first time, and then you'll have random people that just walk up to you, and maybe they follow you on social media, maybe people you don't really know, and you get to strike up a conversation and become friends with them as well. So it's awesome. I mean, that's like my favorite part is just the interacting with the people, especially your friends. Yes, sir. He has a lot of wax. But yeah, like and that's the thing, man. It's the flipper type stuff. It's really affected the way that Eric collects wax. Um, yeah, I mean, because he doesn't really collect it anymore because you can't find it. And he's like myself. He's not paying the markup prices. I don't, and I wouldn't advise anybody to, really, to be honest, if someone asked. Let's see. A lot, Brian, would be the answer to that. There wasn't a ton of raw in the showcases, especially. I mean, you'd see occasionally a raw card, but most of it was graded. Um, primarily PSA, but there was a fair amount of BGS, a little bit of SGC, a tiny bit of CSG. I didn't really see any of the HGA stuff there. So I didn't really, I think maybe I saw a couple of cards there, but nothing that would be even remotely close to like a percent. Let's see. This beast might be at the National. Okay, so Michael's saying he might be there. I think Bart was referring to baseball collectors beast, but hey, the more beasts, the better, right? Yes, and that is also true, Michael. He always buys stuff. It's fun, and I mean, I can totally appreciate, however people do it. I'm patient to a flaw at sometimes. Some might call me cheap even, but I I just can't. I just don't want to buy something and then get home later and be like, "Why did I buy this?" And just immediately want to get rid of it. I got to make sure that I want it. I think a lot of people thought that at lunch. I think there was a conversation at lunch about that, about somebody grabbed Mike's bag and the rest of us will hold him back while we get off with it. Hey, I know a lot of people that agree with you, Bart, on this for sure. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Yeah, I'm the same way, Mike. I can't do it, man. Um, I can't do it. Uh, no, I didn't see any of those. I thought that was a one of one. Is that not a one of one? That's a sweet card, by the way. If it's not a one of one, I would love to get my hands on one of those. Uh, I have I have a little bit of sealed wax. Um, the thing about sealed wax, it's it's fun to have, but it can get kind of boring after a while just to kind of look at it. You're like, man, I could buy like a really cool car if I just got rid of that. So um, it's good to hold on to because over time there becomes less and less of it. So the price generally goes up. Here's what my experience with sealed wax is like. I'll buy like a couple of boxes of something or a case of something with the intention of keeping it for like, I'll tell myself like I'm keeping this for at least 10 years because I know this thing's gonna just skyrocket and then I'll sell it. But usually like after a year or two of having it, I'm just like I get so bored with it and I'm like, man, I could buy like a really cool card if I just sold this. So that's usually what I do. It's probably not, the best decision money wise, but you know, sometimes as collectors we don't make the best financial decisions. Let's see here. Diamond grading service. Interesting. I've seen so they had this one dude that was there and I can't remember the name of this little grading service that he had started, but um, basically what they do it's almost like an old like Beckett raw card review where they'll grade it and then they just kind of like seal it in like a card saver one. But the difference is like if you did that with Beckett, there is a Beckett grading service. Like with whoever it is that's doing this, there's nobody to send the card in after they've pre-graded it. So I don't know. To me, I don't know. If you've looked at a lot of cards yourself over the years, I would just, trust your own eyes as much as I would any of those guys. I think it's the guy that used to be like one of the head graders at PSA is the guy that's doing that. Somebody probably knows his name. I can't remember. Yeah, Bart said it down here. It's like Dallas Card Show Grading Company. I mean, to me, that just, I don't know. People can do what they want, but I trust my eyes or, somebody that I know, like a fellow collector that's been in this a long time as much as I would those guys. And I mean, the grade's it doesn't do anything, you can't get it slabbed because there's not a real company. Uh-oh, shots fired here. You're definitely cheap. Yeah, I mean, I agree, dude. Like I've been with you on some of those epic wax purchases that you've made, and it's it's a hell of a lot of fun to either watch you open it or you know you let me open a few packs, and it's fun, man. No doubt about it. I just don't have the. I just can't do it. I just can't open wax anymore. It's just I've become too risk averse in my old age. Hey, thanks, Brian. I've been watching a lot of your stuff. It looks like you've been picking up some pretty sweet stuff, man. Oh, dude, it's Pop 2. So But are they both? Are all the non-slabbed ones? Are they autographed? Dual autographs, Mike? If so, man, I'm gonna need you guys to hook me up with one of those, or I'll just buy a non-auto and you guys can sign it at the National. Because I'll probably want to pay a little extra for an inscription. Let's see, Nate. Hey, those are not bad packs right there. Can't say I'm too surprised with the bonds ones. That's true. That's true. And that's interesting, Mike, because like I wonder, you hear all the complaints lately about PSA, about them being a little bit tougher, which, I tend to agree that they have been a little bit tougher, but I do also think that a lot of that probably has to do, the grades coming back so poorly has to do with a lot of inexperienced people sending in cards that they probably shouldn't have. So there's probably a mixture of those two things. Maybe they're tightening up a little bit. Plus, you throw in all the newer people to the hobby that had never submitted before, maybe they really didn't know the exact things to look for on certain cards and stuff like that. Because, I can think back to like the first submission that I did with PSA. And I'd been collecting cards for a long time and I still did terrible because, you just don't really, like what we used to consider to be like a mint card, like when we were kids, probably looking back wasn't technically mint in a grading company's eyes. So a lot of people probably just, open cards from packs, thought, oh, this came from a pack, it must be a 10, so I'm sending it in without really looking it over too well. So there's probably a fair amount of that stuff that happened as well. I don't know if it's the same guy, Grant, but that's a little bit weird too. Somebody that's grading the graded cards. I don't really feel that that's necessary. Oh, sweet. They're all dual autographs. Yeah, I got to get one. Absolutely, he has been. Yeah, and it's good, man. I love to see that. I love to see, one of our own get into that space and do well. So yeah, Brian's a cool dude, and I'm glad to see that he's been successful. Because it's a tough. I'm sure he'll be the first one to tell you it's probably not as easy as what people think. There's a lot that goes into that. So yeah, props to B Roth. Is this true, Brian? Are you gonna have a table at the National? That'd be awesome. Yeah, if you're gonna do this again, Mike, let me know. I'll I'll be there, man. You had us open like 2 years ago. You had us open, a bunch of us open a pack of 87 tops. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Stuff like that is just fun. I love stuff like that. There are 50 blasters, but they're not going to be $20. That's the problem. I can find you 50 blasters, but you're not going to like the price. Yeah, Grant. Definitely next year, man. You should definitely come. I think it's Atlantic City, right? Next year. Yep, I'm sure everybody would like to meet you. So make it if you can, my man. Hey, what's up? Yeah, dude, and that's that's probably the main thing, isn't it, Brian? Is just like, finding quality stuff. I'm sure you can I'm sure you get calls all the time from people that want you to look at their stuff. And if you've been in the hobby long enough, we've all gotten those calls, where a friend or a family member wants you to look at their collection. And I think Jimmy Guns did a video about that yesterday, actually, how he felt bad, telling his friend that the cards that he had were not really, worth any money. I mean, yeah, that's tough. It's tough to have to tell people that, but got to be honest with them, right? Not this year, maybe next year, right? Yes, sir. Right there. Two of the best dudes around. They will take care of you for sure. Oh, dude, that place. All right, so Michael and I went to this restaurant in Texas called Papados. It's a seafood place. Ooh, that was good. That was a good choice. I will definitely go back there. I don't know about this first part about buying it for everyone, but actually I do know that won't be happening. But I think we all should go. Let's see. Yeah. It's always a box of 90 Donruss. That's I've seen plenty of. I've opened a lot of those for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, it's always awkward though, because like I'll be flipping through the cards and I'll be like, oh man, this is a cool one, because it'll be a card that I had when I was like a kid, and it brings back a memory, so it's cool to me in that way. And then they hear you say that it's cool, and they're like, oh, all right, how much is it worth? I'm like, I don't know, $1 or $2. So then they're like, yeah, well, that's not cool, because they're hoping that they're sitting on a gold mine, but it's rare. It's rare. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Brian. I'm sure you've had to do that plenty, and it probably never gets easy when somebody's excited about something. They think they have something, and then you have to be the bearer of bad news. The man, the myth, the legend, Dave. I don't know if you were here earlier, Dave, but I was telling the guys, like, with your snarkiness and wittiness and humor, I was like, that's just that's my style of humor, and it reminds me a lot of like the way we joke around a lot in our family. And I think you could be a character on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, it was a blast, Dave. Like man, I always enjoy seeing you and hanging out, and I look forward to the national and getting to see Caden. That'll be fun. That will be fun for sure. Rick, what is up, Rick? Yo, thumbs up, my man. Let's see what else we got here. Hey, those might be worth some money now. A lot of that non-sports stuff really shot up, and a lot of that's cool, man. Like, I recently bought a 1986 Wonder Bread Masters of the Universe. It's like a 15 card set that came in Wonder Bread packages back in 1986. And that was like my favorite cartoon, and I loved all the toys back then. So I saw that set. I was like, I just need that. So I bought it. I think I know. I mean, I don't know the story, but I have a guess. I'm guessing that it was the archive set. Would be my guess. And yeah, that's a damn shame. Yes, sir. I did. Mr. Steph Curry. So I have like an interesting, I guess, um, interesting history, I guess, as far as Steph Curry goes. Because, for a long time, man, I did not like the dude at all. And that was, my fandom coming out in me because back when we were good, we had Russ and KD and Harden. We had some pretty epic battles with Golden State. So I didn't like players on other teams that were a threat to the Thunder. And now that we're, kind of going through this rebuild and, we're not really relevant at the moment. So I've really started to like and appreciate Steph Curry's game. And to me, I don't know about you guys, but that happens to me with a lot of players. Like when they're young, I don't really like them, but then as they, get older, you really start to appreciate what they've done and accomplished. And I don't know, I just start to like them a little bit more. So at the Dallas show, the F1 cards were pretty hot. I think there was one guy that had a bunch of F1 cards at his table, and a couple of my friends were telling me that he pretty much sold out pretty much all the stuff he had like within the first couple of days of the show. I know the guy that my buddy that I bought the Curry from, he's really big into the F1 cards. I don't know much about them, but yeah, they were moving. Awesome. The rare 1990 Leaf Greg Maddux rookie. Guessing he passed on that card. Yeah, thanks, Nate and Dave. Let me throw Michael's comment up here. Printed that Curry in his mom's basement. I wish my mom had the technology to print a card like that. Oh yeah, thanks guys on the Curry. That was it was big card for me for sure. I was very happy to be able to acquire it. Very fortunate. Yeah. That's always rough too, to have to tell somebody that it's a reprint. Yeah, and I think, a lot of people are, I don't know if I want to say they're getting duped right now, but I think they're just probably not educated on what some of these, because I see a lot of people buying these custom cards that people are making now, which some of them are cool. And if people know what they are, like they know it's a custom card, then that's fine. But I think a lot of people have been buying these. Like I've seen them on eBay, some of them going for like crazy prices, and they probably think it's like a real card, that was, licensed and all that. And I think a lot of people have kind of fallen into that trap. Yeah, man. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff over the last year that, especially some of the non-sport stuff that, I really didn't know existed either. And, but yeah, F1 cards, I didn't know anything about those. And, well, I still don't know anything about them, but I didn't really know that they had them. Yeah, right on. I mean, if people like them, I mean, like I think you were there when we were talking to Justin about these, right, Michael? Like I think he had opened like 60 something boxes of the Topps Chrome since they came out. So he really likes them. And he's got some pretty sweet ones from that set. He's got some low numbered stuff. Oh, dude. I think I know what this is about, Maiko. I think I know what this is about. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, you know right where to get me with that one. That was funny. You guys know how Russell Westbrook is, man. He gets a little bit emotional, and he's got a little bit of fire in his belly. So you don't want to get him too upset. I'm telling you. Only in Philly, man. Only in Philly. You guys boo Santa Claus. Now you're throwing popcorn at my guy. Come on. Oh, yeah, Philly fans. Come on. Yeah, I watched the game the other night, man, and the poor Wizards, they just, other than Westbrook and Beal, they just don't have it, man. They don't have much. They've got so many guys on that team that are like, you know, role players at best, like for a bad team. They are a bad team, so they just happen to be a bad team that's in the playoffs. Dude, I wish I could. I don't know how to play, to be honest. That was one of my dad's favorite guitars, so I just have it. I just like to display it. He tried to teach me to play a couple times when I was younger, but he was better at playing it than teaching it. I was a poor student, and he didn't have a ton of patience as a teacher. So I'm a collector of guitars. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean popcorn's not gonna hurt at least. JD Drew had to dodge batteries. Man, you guys, what do you guys have going on there, Mike? Why are your fans so upset all the time? You guys are brutal, man. I'm gonna have to watch out at the National for like you and Ed and Ray if he's there. God, he guys will be throwing cards at me. Oh, while wearing the title belt. Hey, that would be fun. Play a song with the title belt on. Yeah, for sure. For sure he was. Yeah, he could just listen to a song and play it. Like he could hear it a couple times and play it. He was good. I mean, like, towards the end when his health was really failing him, he had rheumatoid arthritis, so he could not play much, towards the end of his life because his fingers, man, they would just be so swollen and it would just hurt too much to play. But yeah, he could jam. He could jam. Like I can remember as a kid, he had an amp and he would plug that thing in and just jam out for us. We'd just gather around and listen. I think sometimes mom would get a little upset because this would be late at night. She would be trying to sleep and he would have the amp cranked up, but it was fun. It was fun. Fair point, Ken. Fair point. Yeah, I think they did, Bart, for sure. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. man. That might win the comment of the night. Oh yeah, I feel for you guys, Mike. There's no telling what you guys have to deal with. I hope the I hope the cards are not near the battery aisle. Oh yeah, you got no patience. No patience in Philly. This guy had a bad game. He's a bum. Get rid of him. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Josh, what's up, man? Yeah, it was. It was a great time. Will you be coming to the National this year, Josh? Josh is our resident Ty Cobb collector. He's got an incredible Ty Cobb collection. Trust the process. That's all lip service in Philly. Trust the process until they play bad and then throw stuff at them. That's great. All right, guys. Well, I've been on here for a little over an hour, but it's been a lot of fun. I didn't expect this many people to hop in here, but man, I'm glad everybody hopped in here, and it was a really really fun stream. Everybody's got jokes in here. We got got Philly people throwing stuff at my players. It's great. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to be signing off, but yeah, I appreciate everybody jumping in, making this fun, and looking forward to seeing whoever can make it, like to either the next Dallas show. I'm going to probably try to go to both shows. The next Dallas show, which is like 2 weeks before the National, and then of course the National in Chicago. So definitely look forward to, seeing everybody there. Like I said, that's what it's all about. You get there, you're having fun with everybody, joking around. Hopefully there won't be any batteries being thrown by the Philly guys at people, but we'll try to get them to behave. But awesome time, guys. Hope to see you guys there. All right, peace out.